Hello and welcome to I Am with Eric Faria. I am your host, and it is my pleasure to have here with me today Stella Danker, who is a writer and an entrepreneur. Hi, Stella.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being here, first of all. It's a pleasure. We've known each other for a little while, and I'm so proud to have you here with us in the studio today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, so let's begin. I know you do a great work, right? So I want to know, first of all, it's called the Do Good Shop,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
And I want to know how it all began for you and how you got involved.
Okay, so I've been a journalist my entire life, ever since I graduated from university in England. And my beat was always social welfare. So I've been writing about empowering women and children for the longest time. And later on, I became a renewable energy journalist.
Oh.
So it just seemed like a natural progression.
Yeah.
To now I'm walking the talk. So now I really want to go out there and give women, from some of the world's poorest and least developed countries a sustainable income.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
So it's a very important work what you're doing.
Thanks.
Yeah, and the idea for the Do Good Shop, did it just evolve out of your work as a journalist, seeing how these women lived and the conditions that they lived in?
Yes,
Yeah?
absolutely, because there was a time when I edited what was called the Earth Times in Manhattan, and I did a lot of work about sustainability with the United Nations.
Oh.
And that's where I got really involved with like microfinance loans. And I found what great work it did. When the World Bank started the microfinance loans to women, they actually thought it was a write-off. They were not going to get the money back.
Really?
Yep. They thought, well, we're just doing this, we'll not get the money back.
Can you actually explain?
What microfinance
explain
loans
what it is.
That is where you lend women in these really poor countries a small amount of money to start a business. Okay, and they found that these women paid them back every penny.
Which they thought they were not going to get back.
Yeah, so it was a great program.
Yeah.
And I also learned when I was, being editor of the Earth Times, I learned that when you lend women money, they always benefit the children. They give the children health care and they educate the children.
Wow.
And I think that the way to bring people out of poverty and entire families and communities out of poverty is through education.
Of course. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, and this is why I want to empower women.
Yeah, so because when you empower women, you are not only empowering themselves, but also their children.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like second generation, maybe even third generation. That's fantastic.
Like first in India, they didn't want to give the money to the women because they didn't have ID. A lot of these women didn't have identification. But then they just decided, we're going to do this. We're just going to let the women have the money.
Yeah.
With or without ID, because they found what great things women did with the money.
Yeah.
They benefited the children.
So like education, what else? How else do they benefit the community?
Education, healthcare, and also, it's dignity. Women just want to,
Having a purpose.
Having a purpose, having a job. For a lot of these women, they're earning money for the first time in their lives.
Wow. That's very powerful.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the work that you do now with the Do Good Shop and how it all ties to the women in like India and Laos and other places.
Right. So, I'm the author of the upcoming book, The Do Good Shop, Lifting Families Out of Poverty, One Fashion Statement at a Time.
I love the title.
I do this by giving these women a sustainable income by selling their top quality merchandise. Okay. So the first people I discovered were these women in Laos.
Yeah.
I work with 500 women in 30 villages in Laos.
Wow.
And they hand weave these raw silk scarves.
Which looks amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
So before that, they existed on subsistence agriculture. That means they eat what they grow. When they don't grow enough, they forage the jungles for something to eat or sell.
Yes.
Now, the problem is that it's a really dangerous occupation in Laos because Laos is the most bombed country in the world that's never been at war.
You were telling me that, and it was just unbelievable.
Okay. What happened was during the Vietnam War, America dropped tons of bombs daily on Laos.
Right.
So some 2 million bombs have been dropped on Laos. A third of them remain undetonated.
Wow, so people can actually step on it and blow up. Yeah.
So now the women have a job. They've been taught to weave. So they hand weave these scarves. and they're very happy.
Brilliant.
They have,
That's
the
brilliant
first time
idea.
they're earning any money.
Yeah.
And they have dreams, and they're, helping the children.
Mm-hmm.
The children are being educated and given health care.
Yeah. Oh,
So
my
that's a
God.
fabulous thing.
It is a fabulous
Yeah.
thing. So, and I also have here,
Yes, thank you.
I wanted to surprise people. So this is a beautiful handcrafted bag, right? So, go ahead and explain.
So all my merchandise have
Yeah.
a story. So basically, I source non-profit, fair trade, or directly from women-owned cottage industry,
Mm-hmm.
okay? This one comes from a social enterprise in India.
Mm.
And what they do is they have rescued trafficked sex workers
Yeah.
in Sonagachi, which is the biggest red light district in Kolkata, India.
In India,
So
yeah.
these women have been taught to read and write and sew.
Right.
And I'm going to, so this is one of their products, and
Yeah.
I'm now going to design a line of yoga bags from this enterprise.
Wow.
And can I
Yeah.
tell about these beads?
Of course.
So these beads have such a story too. They are handmade by the Acholi women of Uganda from paper.
From paper.
These are paper. And this is the natural color of the paper.
Yeah, that doesn't even look like
Right.
paper or
I know.
feel like paper.
And
Yeah.
these beads account for 70% of this nonprofit's income.
Wow.
And with the money, they lend these women loans to start
Yeah.
a small business.
Uh-huh.
They have hospitals for children, and they run schools for children. And the Acholi women are running the nonprofit from the ground in Uganda.
Wow.
So they have 2 jobs. They used to work in a quarry before this came along, really long days of hard work in the sun
Yeah.
for like $5. And now they have this.
Wow.
So it's fabulous,
It
right?
is
it's just
fabulous.
such a purpose.
It
does
looks so
much.
beautiful. It's so well made.
Yeah.
It looked like it has actually a meaning for the
Yes.
people that make them.
Yes.
Right?
Right. And these two they are so cute. They're so cute. These are
What are
made
these?
by 7 women in a remote village in Rajasthan, India.
Wow.
Fair trade
Uh-huh.
out of recycled cotton sari. Sari is the traditional dress
traditional
that worn
garment,
by
yeah.
women in India.
Yeah.
And it's called a bell toda. So what it does is the bell at the end of it rings in good spirits
Nice.
to bring good luck and prosperity to the household.
So
And
you
this
can
is all-
like hang it on your door. Yeah.
So it's from a women's cooperative in India. That means they go there and they pick up the fabric. They don't pay for anything. They take it home, and while they're taking care of their children,
Yeah.
they're sewing these. And when the product is finished, they go to the cooperative and give it to them, and they get paid, a wage.
Wow. That's amazing. So just before we go to our first break, can you just explain the idea of fair trade? Because I've listened to
Sure.
that word
Yes.
quite often, especially in the last 5 or so years.
Right.
But sometimes I still am a little confused as to what it means.
Right. So there are rules about being certified fair trade. To be fair trade, people are paid a decent living wage. And so like with these women who make these bell todas,
Right.
fair trade means that when they pick up the fabric, they're not charged. They're given the fabric. That's
Got
part
it.
of it. Fair trade also means that you don't employ underage children to
Children,
work.
yeah.
There's no, slave labor.
Of course.
There's not sweatshop.
Uh-huh.
And people are paid a decent wage.
Got it. Like
And
a
every
livable
year, your
wage.
books have to be inspected by the Fair Trade Commission.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So that seems like it's something that is doing a lot of good
Yeah.
for impoverished communities around the world, right? Because you mentioned Uganda, you mentioned Laos, you mentioned
Yes.
India.
Yes.
Are there any other countries?
Yep. So like this one is from Thailand, this dress.
Thailand, yeah.
So this dress is made by a mother and daughter cottage industry in Chiang Mai, Thailand. And it's been brought here by a mother and daughter small business. And they are working at, their fair trade certification too.
Amazing. Wow, we have so much more to talk
Yes,
about.
thank you. Yeah.
So we're going to take a little break right now.
Okay.
And we will be back because I want to know more about all of this fair trade and do good business that you have going on. Okay?
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you. So for everybody watching, we will be back right after this break. Stick with us. And welcome back to I Am with Eric Faria. Once again, I have Stella Danker here with me, so I'm just going to jump right in. So, Stella, you were mentioning that you have a mission, right?
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that? Because it's a beautiful mission.
Thank you. So the obvious mission, obviously, is lifting families out of poverty, one fashion statement at a time. But I also want to start a movement, which is why I'm writing this book. So the movement is to change the way people shop.
Yeah.
All right. If we all shopped fair trade in a way that could transform a woman's life, isn't that great?
It's amazing.
Like, who really needs to buy another dress or another backpack?
I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I have so many stuff in my closet that I haven't even used in like a year.
Because I believe that every time you spend money, you're making a statement about the kind of world you want to live in.
It's so true.
So this is the world that I want to live in.
Yeah, because you're actually spending your money, so you're paying with your dollars the lifestyle that you want to, I guess, empower.
Yeah.
Right?
And Kofi Annan, who was the UN Secretary General and the 2001 Nobel Peace Prize winner, he said, when women benefit, when women prosper, societies benefit and future generations are given a better start in life. So that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So that's, and also, if everybody, all of us do a little bit, maybe just by changing the way you shop or just doing small things, everybody can do a bit to help women, help their families.
Sure, and
because we are lucky, right?
Yeah,
we are so lucky.
We are very lucky here in the United States to be able to make a living. It just reminded me, like the fair trade reminded me of the farmers market movement that has been booming and growing, especially in the area that we live, and where people are more conscious of where their produce, for example, comes from.
Great.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think we can totally do that for shopping, for other items.
Exactly, right. Because if you think about I think half the world is mired in squalor and poverty, and we are so fortunate here.
We are.
That if we can help and give back, why not do that?
Why not do that? So I'm actually interested, like, where did this all start for you as a young person? Like, when you were in your childhood, in your teenage years, where did this desire to help and to see a fairer and a better world
that
come
is
from?
a terrific question. That's a really good question. So I didn't grow up rich, okay? And I think I was brought up by a single mother. So I could see what she was doing to bring us up. She was educating herself. She actually started working as a clerk in a post office, but then later on she trained to be a teacher.
Really?
So when she had two little babies, she was like training to be a teacher to better her life.
Right.
And she would save with a little bit of money. She bought our first apartment. And I could remember the day she bought it, she was like really like proud and happy with this little government apartment that she had.
Yeah, of course.
And my auntie, her sister, was a social worker. And she actually had prominent role in the government. I come from Singapore. And she rescued children.
She did?
Yeah, my auntie did. So I think it's in the pedigree.
Yes. Especially with the role models from other women.
That's right. So for as long as I can remember, I've been raising funds and helping people who have been less fortunate. It's like a really nice, fulfilling thing to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. And for people who would like to be involved, what would you say? Because there are people who want to help, but sometimes they don't know how to do so, or they think, I'm not part of an organization, I am only one person, what can I do?
Right. I found that people are really sweet and supportive when they know what you're doing. So that's great.
Yeah.
And how I market my merchandise is I have a website.
Yeah.
And I have to say, it isn't doing great.
Oh.
I haven't got many people coming on it. So I've decided that for me to spread my message, I started to do trade shows, street fairs.
Street fairs.
I used to attend these, and now I'm a vendor at them. And so I'm just spreading the word about how we can all help. And people are lovely.
Yeah.
I find that when people know what your mission is about, they do want to help.
So basically just getting out there, like the good old-fashioned face-to-face and talking about your project.
Like what you're doing with me now. I get invited to talk, and I love doing it.
Yeah,
just to spread the message,
Of course, and you showed me that you were recently featured for the street fair that you did, right, in the area.
Yeah. And also, so that's what I like to do, and that's how I'm spreading the message, and also by writing my book. So my book is going to feature people like your program, ordinary people just helping out. So my book is going to feature all these different people that I've met who are doing, whatever they can do. Their part to, help other people who are less fortunate than them.
Of course. What are some of the projects that these people have that you're going to
I
feature?
will tell you.
Yeah.
So, so I've lived out of my country for many years, so I haven't really been back. But last year, I went back last February, I just went back for a high school reunion.
Yeah.
So I met my high school teacher, my homeroom teacher. Her name is Sister Janet. She's a Catholic nun. I went to a Catholic school. So I asked her, I said, hey, Sister Janet, what are you up to these days? And she said that she has a mission of nuns to Myanmar. And they are making Burmese jade rosaries and bracelets to raise money to educate educators, to educate children.
Oh my
goodness.
goodness.
Is that terrific?
That's amazing.
So I totally got her products. I said, I want to help.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one person doing something. And everywhere I go, I meet people who are doing different things. I met another woman, and she's helping abused domestic workers while they're waiting for their trial. So these are the people I'm featuring in my book.
That's fantastic. And how do you go about meeting them? I mean, you ran into your high school reunion.
I just ran into her. And I think by sharing my life.
Sharing your life, right?
That's how I meet people.
And more people know about the work that you do and they connect you with other people.
Like the lady I get these beads from, she's quite extraordinary too. She was an aid worker. She was a photographer and an aid worker. So she would volunteer to go to Uganda to take photographs. And she just got so involved with the plight of the people, and she wanted to help them. So she started this nonprofit. Is that great?
Yeah.
So a lot of people, they're doing small things. I have another woman who's doing jewelry made by Zulu women in South Africa. And again, that's not her main job.
No.
You know, it's like something she's doing. She calls it her charity.
Wow.
Her charity business, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so incredible to me that there's so much stuff going on that we sometimes don't hear about, right? Like on the mainstream, if you turn on the television, most likely you will not hear about these kind of stories.
Right.
And that's why I feel like it's so important to elevate people who are doing good work, who are actually trying in whatever way they can to better the lives of the people around them, right? So we can all start small when we can all do something.
Start small. So so I've started with these Lao scarves, and then I discovered these beads. So the next thing I'm going to do is in January, February, and March, I'm going to be traveling around Asia. I'm going to go to the Philippines, to Vietnam. I'm going to go to Laos again, and Indonesia, and I'm going to source for more of these artisans and find more women to empower with their craft.
That's so powerful. I just love it. It's like a ray of sunshine and good news, because I feel like we need that more than ever nowadays. You know, it's really, really great, the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
So this is a perfect time for us to take a little break.
Okay.
We're coming up on our last segment. I know it goes by so fast. But so for everybody watching us, we will be back after this break. Stick with us. And welcome back to I Am with Eric Faria. Once again, I have Stella Danker here with me today. And Stella, you were mentioning about a little trunk store that you have. What is it exactly?
Okay, so when I started, I actually wanted to sell mostly from my website. And I found that that wasn't happening.
Right.
Okay, that apparently, speaking to other people, you need to be more established before that actually happens. And so I started I call it my trunk store, because I found that people, whenever I go around, people say, oh, that's a pretty dress. And I can say, I have it in my trunk.
Nice. So if they're interested, it's right there. Yeah.
So now I have like a few of each of my products in a bag in my trunk. And so whenever people say, oh, that's a cute elephant, I say, I have it in my car.
Right.
And that is great. Or somebody say to me, oh, so-and-so's birthday is coming. I say, I've got just the right gift for you. And when you have it there handy, wrapped up, people love it.
Right, and it's so much easier for them to actually shop and just be like, I want one of these.
I bring the shop to them.
Yes.
And when I was doing a street festival in Tarrytown, I remember a lady asked me, are you out in California? Because she was from California. And I said, no. She says, well, you should be. And I thought, well, that's what I could do. I could duplicate. See, now I have my trunk store, which is basically my shop in a bag.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I could duplicate that And so she could be out in California with my shop in a bag.
Yes.
And this is how you're spreading the movement.
So true. So
Yeah.
true. And that's, wow. It's something that can be replicated for sure. And you were also talking about your book, right? So
Yes.
what is so more or less the idea that the book should be out, the date?
It has to be out. So what I want to do is I'm collecting photographs. I keep interviewing people. And next year, as I said to you, in January, February, and March,
You're
I'm
gonna
going
be
to
in
source
Asia?
for more artisans.
Yeah.
And during that time too, I want to put it together. I have a lot of my interviews already done, like with my sister Janet and with my auntie Janet. She's an amazing woman. She is in the Women's Hall of Fame in Singapore. She has been honored for
Wow.
all the great work she has done. So I've
Fantastic.
interviewed her and my mom and their stories. So I want to put all this together. So I want it done by the end of the first quarter next year.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to Asia for 3 months and, do it.
Yeah, so by around March,
Yes,
you'll
I
be
have a
done.
publisher.
Nice.
So they just want the book.
And so when do you think people will be able to buy it? To be like, okay, I want a copy for myself and to support these, fantastic
In
women.
March next year.
March of next year.
Yeah,
Awesome.
absolutely. Check my website.
Yes, which we will have all the info for people to check
Right.
out for sure.
Yeah.
And is there anything that you would like for people to take away from all the work that you do and all the charities that you work with? What is there something, a message?
You know what?
Yeah.
I really would like people to be more aware of where they're buying things. It's not always about, the cheapest product,
Right.
right? Like if you really don't want sweatshop, then sometimes you might have to pay a little bit more.
It's true.
Yeah,
Just kind of like
So that's
the
right.
organic movement, right?
exactly.
If you want to actually buy something that doesn't have anything that's going to be bad for your health, you have to
Right.
buy something that is a little more pricier,
Yeah.
but that in the long run is going to be better for you.
Right, as we said earlier,
Yeah.
it is to start a movement of changing the way people shop.
Right.
That let's just be more aware that we can help a woman in a really poor country
Right.
with her family
Of course.
Yeah.
And also
if we shop differently.
for sure. And
Yeah.
also be aware that the fact that as we were saying, whatever you buy with your money, right, you are supporting either someone like that who
Yes.
is supporting a whole community, or you're supporting the work of, say, a sweatshop.
Exactly. So I think if people were aware, they really don't want to support sweatshops.
No, I don't think, because I don't even think they are aware of it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's so good. So I always have like rapid fire questions with my guests.
Okay.
And I would like to ask you some, okay? So I
Sure.
will say a word and you tell me whatever comes to mind.
Okay.
All right? Don't worry, I know that I put
No
people on the
tricks.
spot. No tricks. So what does community mean to you?
Love.
Love, wow. What does connection mean to you?
Oh, connection, relatedness,
Relatedness, right?
friendship,
Friendship. And what does charity mean to you?
empowering families.
Awesome, awesome. So you, as a very powerful woman yourself, what do you think that the young women that we have here in this beautiful state and country of ours, what do you think they can or should be doing to help their communities?
I think young people are really aware of of doing good. Like
I think so
whenever I
too.
meet my daughter's friends, they are just all thrilled by what I'm doing. In fact, one of my daughter's friends called me recently because she's doing the same thing.
She is.
She is. It's like really awesome. And she was just asking my advice on how she should get started. Yeah, she has some craft women from Chiapas in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
And, so I find that people are more aware of these things and they like being able to give back to, community and to society.
Is there any kind of place that people can go to know more about these stories? Well, of course, they can contact you, but is there anything, are you part of a network or a group of people that get together and...
No, I'm not, but I'll
No?
tell you, no, I'm not. But
Maybe you should start one.
it's a really good idea. But I will tell you this, if I'm allowed
Yes.
to. Tomorrow, I am actually going to be in an all-day fair on the riverfront in Peekskill.
Okay.
You know, and when I set up my booth, I have a logo that says "Do Good Shop."
Yes.
So people know what this, and they will ask me why you call it the Do Good Shop.
Yeah.
And also, I take part in a fair trade fair in December, and that's fabulous. So when
Okay.
you do these specific fairs, people are aware that they're there because they want to shop fair trade.
Awesome.
Yeah, so there are fair trade
Yeah.
fairs, and those are really, really
So-
great places to go to shop.
Exactly. So people should just go
Yeah, look, yeah.
on the internet, look for these places, and try to, do good
Right.
and shop, in a helpful and mindful way,
Yes.
right? So before we go, is there any book? I know your book is not out yet, because if it were, I would,
Yes.
tell to go get your book. But is there any book, piece of art, it can be music, a movie, painting, anything that you would like for people to seek out and be inspired by?
That is a good one. I hadn't thought about that. I think A Course in Miracles.
A Course in Miracles,
Yes.
which I have talked about in
Oh,
this
you
show.
have?
I have
Yeah.
before with one of my guests.
Yeah.
Why is that important to you? Why
Well,
do you
I
like
love
it?
meditation, and I just think that I want miracles to happen for people, as well as for me and for the women that I'm empowering.
Yeah, I love how they say that we can go from creating miracles by just shifting our mind from a thought of fear to a thought of love.
Yes.
It seems so simple,
Yes.
right? And it's like so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's just inspiring.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, Stella, thank you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure. I hope
Thank
that more
you.
people seek out your work and, go on your website and go to the fairs and find out about these products. And yeah, I just wish you the best and good luck with the book.
And thank you for helping me, spread the movement.
My pleasure.
Actually, I remember now when we first met,
Yes.
you were talking to me about A Course in Miracles.
I was,
Do you remember
wasn't
that?
I?
Yeah.
See, and it all got us
Yes.
together. And
Yep.
I love the work that you're
And
doing.
the theme of your talk show series about ordinary people doing extraordinary things is exactly what. So we're all part of the same movement. You and I.
Exactly, we all are.
Yep,
In
thank
my own
you.
little way. So
Yes.
thank you. Continue to do good, and I
Thank
hope
you.
that it is a success.
Thank you.
Okay. So for everybody watching us, all the information for Stella Danker will be at the end of the show, and I hope to see you again next week for a new episode of I Am. Thank you for watching.